In this video, whenever we collide with the pipe, okay, whenever we collide with the pipe, we are setting game over menu to say active to true. Okay, so we're gonna deal with this. So without furthering delay, let's dive into this topic. Go to hierarchy. Okay, go to hierarchy, hit the plus icon or right click on the hierarchy. Okay, go to UI and then select the canvas. Okay, select the canvas. So we're gonna place all of the UI elements into this canvas. Okay, select the canvas and F2 focus on. Okay, F2 focus on. As you can see, this is canvas. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna move it to the top in the hierarchy so we can see it, and right click on the canvas. Okay, right click on the canvas and create an empty game object. Okay, create an empty game object, name that game object to menu, something like that, main menu or menu. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna resize this menu as the canvas size. So what we need to do, select the go to rect transform of this menu game object, select on select this. Okay, and hold down alt on your keyboard and select the bottom right. Okay, bottom right. So it will fit into the size of canvas. Okay, into the size of canvas. So what we're gonna do, right click on the of this menu. Okay, right click on this menu and create, go to UI and select say select an image. So we're gonna create a panel. Okay, so select the panel. Okay, select the panel. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna resize this panel. Okay, so so hold down alt and left mouse button to it will resize from the center, as you can see. Okay, it will resize from the center, as you can see. So what we're gonna do, select this panel and go over to image component of this panel. As you select the color fill. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna make the alpha or the transparency in little bit higher, something like this. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna create two buttons. Okay, we're gonna create two buttons, two buttons. So right click on the panel. Okay, right click on the panel. So the panel will resize. Okay, so what we're gonna do, select, go to rect transform, okay, of this panel, select this and hold down alt. Okay, and resize it. Okay, and resize it from, so hold down alt on your keyboard, so it will resize from the center, as you can see. So what we're gonna do, so that's why we selected this stretch tool. Okay, stretch, because it will resize from, as you can see, it will scale with our screen size. So also we need to go to canvas. Okay, as you can see, go to canvas scaler, which says UI scale mode to selected by constant pixel size. So what we're gonna do, when I select scale with screen size. Okay, so what in the X we're gonna set 1080, like portrait mode 1080, and the Y we will say 1920. Okay, so go to panel game object once again. Okay, panel game object once again. So what we're gonna do, right click on the panel. Okay, right click on the panel, go to UI and then go to legacy and then button. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna name this button to something like retry button, retry, sorry, retry button. Okay, and what we're gonna do, select that and hold down alt on your keyboard to stretch or resize from the center, as you can see, and go to rect transform of this retry button. Okay, select this one and select the bottom one. Okay, select the bottom one. So I'm gonna move it over here, something like this, something like this, like 400 would be perfect. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to text of this button and button to say something like retry, sorry, retry, and we're gonna make the font size little bit higher, something like this much, 80, and select a font size bold to sorry, normal to bold. Okay, and if you have any font, you can drag over here. So what we're gonna do, uh, as you can see, is fine. So we're gonna duplicate this button. Okay, so what you have to do, just control D on your keyboard, so it will duplicate and move it down. Okay, move it down, and we're gonna name this button to something like menu. Okay, we're gonna name this button to menu, and what we're gonna select this text to. menu. Okay, we're gonna select this to menu. So what we're gonna do, right click on the panel. Okay, right click on the panel, go to UI, and then legacy, then text. Okay, we're gonna so what we're gonna resize this. So hold down alt on your keyboard, and what go to text of this rect transform. Okay, and hold down alt, select the top one. Okay, top one, and move it down little bit, and increase the font size. Okay, increase the font size, and select alignment to both of this center. Okay, and so I'm gonna make the font size something like 100, and select normal to bold. Okay, and we're gonna name this we're gonna say something like over game over, something like that, and we're gonna move it little bit down. Okay, now it's pretty fine. So what we're gonna do, so we're gonna make a prefab of this menu. So if we lost from the scene or hierarchy, we won't able to restore that. So that's why we're gonna make it prefab. So head over to prefab folders. If you haven't created the prefab folder, just right click on assets, create folder, and name that folder to prefab to keep things organized. Okay, then head over to prefabs and select the menu and drag it into that prefab folder. Now if we delete from the scene or hierarchy, we can restore that by dragging into the canvas. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna set by default this panel. Okay, this panel game object or background, by default we're gonna set to unchecked or false. Okay, we're gonna set it to false or unchecked. So when we collide with the pipes, okay, when we collide with the pipes, we're gonna set this to true. Okay, set this to true like this, as you can see. So by default we're gonna set this to unchecked. Okay, so what we need to do, we're gonna create a game manager script. Okay, we're gonna create a game manager script. So what we need to do, just go to hierarchy, right click, create empty game object, name that to something like game manager. Okay, game manager, game manager, and right click on the transform, go to inspector, right click on the transform and reset. Okay, reset, and if to focus on, so we're gonna select an icon, something this green one, and I'm gonna move it over something like over here. Now it's pretty fine. So this script will handle if the game is running or not. So we're gonna create a bool parameter which will be true or false. Okay, which will be true or false. So we're gonna call it something like game active. If game active, so what we're gonna do, if the bird collide with the pipe. Okay, if the bird collide with the pipes, we're gonna set game active to false. Okay, so that will be a bool parameter which will be true or false. Okay, by default we're gonna set it to true, but whenever the bird collide with that pipe, okay, we're gonna set that game object, okay, sorry, that game active bool parameter to false. Okay, so go ahead over to script folder. Okay, right click, create, and C# script. We will call this something like game manager, something like that. Hit enter. Okay, hit enter and double click it to open up in Visual Studio. Okay, double click it to open up in Visual Studio, and head again to Unity. Okay, head again to Unity, and we have created this game manager script. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna drag it into the top hierarchy so we can see it. Okay, then we can see it. Just wait for to compile. Okay, I can see in the hierarchy we have two canvas, so we're gonna delete one, this bottom one. Okay, bottom one, just wait for to compile. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna delete this canvas. Okay, we're gonna delete this one, and we're gonna drag the game manager into the top hierarchy so we can see it. So what we're gonna do, drag the game manager script. Okay, game manager script to the game manager game object to add component section. Okay, and double click it to open up in Visual Studio. So this script will keep track if the game is running or not. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna delete these two namespaces in the top. We don't need this, and we're gonna delete this pre-generated code. Okay, so we're gonna create an bool parameter which will be true or false, and we're gonna name it game active. Okay, so we're gonna make it public so we can see in the inspector, as well as we're gonna access this parameter, okay, bool parameter, into another script. So that's why we have to make this to public. So we will call something like bool. This will be bool type variable, and we have to name it, so we're gonna call it game active, something like that. By default we're gonna set it to true. Okay, by default we're gonna set it to true. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a singleton pattern. Okay, singleton pattern. So basically, so leave that, we're gonna talk about this in the next video. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over to pipe script, bird script. Okay, bird script. So what we're gonna do, we need this game object. Okay, sorry, we need the panel. Okay, if we go to canvas, and we will able to see the panel field. Okay, just wait for to compile and you will able to see that. Okay, and as well you will able to see that game active parameter in the game manager script, which is by default set it to checked, means true. Okay, we're gonna set to unchecked whenever we collide with the pipe. So if we go to canvas, okay, if we go to canvas, and then we can see this panel which is unchecked, means it, the game object panel is true, false. So what we're gonna do, we need this panel game object. Okay, whenever we collide with the pipe. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to game manager script. Okay, we're gonna go to game manager script, game manager script. So firstly we need that, uh, a game object panel. Okay, so we're gonna make it public, and we will create empty game object. Okay, empty game object, which we will call panel. Okay, panel. So what we're gonna do, as you can see, we make this public, and the type of game object is panel. Okay, so says control s on your keyboard and head again to unity, you will able to see an empty field of game object panel will appear in the game manager script. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna drag this panel to that field. Okay, we're gonna drag this panel to that field. Okay, we're gonna drag this panel to that field, so we will have this panel game object. Then we can set this something like this. Okay, to true, something like this. Okay, so if we go to game manager script, as you can see panel which says none game object. So what we're gonna do, drag the panel game object into the panel game object. Now we have this panel. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna set active to true. Okay, we're gonna set active to true, but we only gonna set active to true when the game is false, means this game active, okay, this game active is false. So we're gonna do it update function. Okay, update function, or uh, update function. Let's do this update. So we're gonna check if, so we're gonna, so why we are doing it update function, because update function checks every single frame, or it call every single frame. So that's why. So we're gonna make if our game active, okay, if our game active is false, equals to false. Okay, means our game is not running. So okay, we are if game active is equals to false. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna set panel game object, panel dot set active, we're gonna set panel game object to true. Okay, so it will be checked in inspector. Okay, so firstly we're gonna set, we need to set this panel game active bool parameter to false. Okay, when we collide with the pipe. So if we head again to unity, and if we open up the bird script. Okay, we're gonna check. Okay, so we have to use on collision inter 2D function. That function get called whenever we collide with something, and we're gonna check if we colliding with pipes or not. Okay, so if we go to bird script. Okay, firstly we need to assign pipe game object to pipe tag. So what you need to do, open up the pipe prefab. As you can see, so we have tagged, okay, the first one, the bottom one, as you can see, tagged, which is pipe. So if you have untagged, so what you need to go to do, you have to do add tag and hit the plus icon, name that pipe and save it, and head again to pipe, that pipe game object, and assign that tag to pipe, whatever you name it, both of this, okay, upper one and the bottom one as well. So assign the tag. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over to bird script. So open up the bird script, open up the bird script, just wait for to open up. So what, over here, okay, on collision inter 2D function, we have to use this inbuilt function, okay, in Unity. So this function is responsible for whenever we collide with something, this on collision inter 2D function get call, okay, get call, and we can extract info what we whatever we collided with, okay, like name, something like that, by going to this other. So we are checking over here, we are firstly going to other. So this on collision inter 2D function get call whenever we collide with something. So if we colliding with whatever game object we colliding with, if that game object, so we are going to game object, then tag, if that game object has tag is equals to pipe. So what we gonna do, instead what we gonna do, we're gonna set that game active. If we go to game manager, okay, we're gonna set this game active to false. We're gonna because we collided with the pipe. So if we go to bird script, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna set. So firstly we need this game manager script, okay, firstly we need this game manager script. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go in the top, we're gonna create an empty field, okay, we're gonna create a empty field of game manager script. So we're gonna make it public so we can see it in the inspector, and we can drag the game manager script to that game manager component, okay, something like. So game manager, we will call this, you have to name it gmi or game manager, something like that, you have to name that. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over to game manager, okay, game manager, and dot we made that public, okay, as you can see game active, we made that public. So that's why we are able to see this game active parameter, bool parameter, and we're gonna set to false. We're gonna set it to false because we collided with the pipe. As you can see, on collision inter 2D function get call whenever we collide with something, and if we collide with that, whatever we collide with that, if that game object, okay, game object, firstly we are going to other, then game object, then tag, okay, then tag, if that game object has tag equals to pipe tag. So what we are doing, we are going to game manager script, and we are setting this game active, okay, this game active to false. As you can see, game manager dot game active is equals to false. And whenever the game active is false, as you can see, we are doing it update function, and update function get call every single frame, and we are checking, okay, if the game active is equals to false, means the game active is false. So what we are doing, we are setting that panel game object, okay, to true, okay, to true. As you can see, panel dot set active to true, as you can see. So first control as on your keyboard and head again to Unity. So you will able to see in the bird script, okay, an empty field of script will appear which says game manager, we name it. So what we need to do, we need to drag the game manager script to that field. So we will have the link, okay, we will have the link of that uh, of that game manager. As you can see, game manager which says none. So what we need to do, if we select the game manager script, so we have this game manager script attached to this game manager game object. So what we gonna do, select the bird and drag the game manager into the game manager field. Now we have the game manager script, okay. Now that, so then we are and then we are able to communicate, okay. We drag it, by default it was empty, so we drag it. Now we have the link of this game manager script, it's communicating. So if we hit play, okay, if we hit play and if we collide with this pipe game object, this panel, okay, this panel game object will be set it to true, because game active is false. We just keep tracking if the game active is true or not. So just wait for to comes the pipe. uh, as you can see, the game over, okay, the game over panel get active. As you can see, this panel game object get active, okay, get active. So I hope you get the idea. So if we go to game manager script, as you can see, we just keep tracking this game manager script, just keep tracking if the game is active or not. Okay, so this will be unchecked whenever we collide with the pipe. As you can see, if we go to bird script, on collision inter 2D function get call whenever we collide with something. So whatever we collided with, if that game object hashtag is equals to our pipe game of pipe tag, okay, so what we are doing, firstly we are going to game manager script and we are setting the game active bool parameter. As you know, this game active bool parameter, we are setting it to false, equals to false, as you can see. So we made this public game manager script and we drag it the game manager into that game manager script field. I hope you get the idea. So if you enjoyed this video and learned something, so hit the like button, okay, and share it with your friends who want to learn from the beginning in Unity game engine. And if you are new to my channel, then you then subscribe for future tutorials, okay. And if you want to support me, you can support me on patreon.com. And lastly, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed.